Diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and we are presented by the Hula Bowl. Today I have with me Gerard Wheeler. He's a center out of Tulsa. How you doing, man?
Doing great, man. Glad to be here. Glad to be on the show.
Yeah, nice to have you on. Obviously, out there at Tulsa, facing like some tough competition, a lot out there. And I guess we'll get to a little bit about your journey, but kind of catch us up to speed a little bit. Tell me about you and how you got yourself there to Tulsa. Give me a brief history, if you don't mind.
All right. Well, it all started moving into Texas, originally from Chicago, Illinois, and the beginning of middle school, we had made a move to Texas for my grandmother, who was a survivor of breast cancer. So shout out to my grandma for that. But basically moved to Texas, and I was introduced to football. And from there, it just kind of went up, A lot of guys starting there in Pee Wee, but I just kind of had a knack for it from the beginning. So I got a good jump on it. And getting into my senior year, they call me like a late bloomer, which I was to the game. But through that process, I had about maybe 10 offers. But then I was blessed to receive an offer from Tulsa from my past coach, Mike Blush, who's currently at UNT, and decided to make the move to Tulsa.
Gotcha. And what makes like Tulsa so special? Like, what was the reason why you chose Tulsa over the rest of those schools?
Well, Tulsa, I feel like, had a really great education, and that was going to set me up for the future in general. And the hometown feel that just didn't give me too much to get into. It's kind of let me just focus and hone in on just football in general.
Gotcha. And what's your major out there at Tulsa?
My major is organizational business and marketing.
Nice. Okay. Well, good. At least you got something going on. Have you graduated yet? What's your status these days?
So my status for graduation is I'll be graduating this December. Just a couple of classes left, and I'll be done finally.
Great. So, I obviously been there for a while. I mean, playing. Have you always played center? I mean, what's kind of your history like as a football player in general?
So as a football player in general, I started off on the defensive side of the ball. When I moved to Texas, I played DN and then fullback. Then transitioned to junior varsity and varsity. The school just needed more linemen, so I started playing guard and then played tackle. And then when I got to Tulsa, the opportunity to become an interior lineman was there from the jump, but I saw that we needed a center, and I wanted to get on the field as fast as possible. So I started snapping the ball when I got to Tulsa, and it just became my niche.
So how long you been the starter there? I mean, do you know like the number of starts off the top of your head that you've had?
It's 20 plus. I've been starting since 2019 against Michigan State. Well, not Michigan State. That's when I first got my playing time going.
Okay.
The center who was in, he was struggling. Coach called my number, and I was just ready to go.
Gotcha. So Gerard, I mean, one of the things that I feel like you have going for you, I believe, is your size. So let me kind of, let's check in with you. Tell me what your size is these days, your height and weight and stuff. Can you drop that?
For my height, 6'2", and then for my weight, I'm in the middle of 330 and 340.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll be honest with you, we had like 6'2" and like a half. So I'll give you 6'2" and a half. The other thing that came through like with your junior like measurements is you got some pretty long arms. They're like 34 and a half inches. Your mitts are pretty big too. So I mean, I feel like having those long arms and your size there, maybe a team might want to actually move you around a bit. So I mean, maybe it's not just center, but maybe even transitioning you to guard a little bit too. But what do you feel is the best thing that you bring to the table as a prospect? I mean, talk to me about you as a player.
Well, as a prospect, I just feel like I'm just naturally, I got a lot of strength that comes behind me. And with those long arms and big hands, I feel like my press and grip and pass pro is really solid. I feel like it just really helps me extend the lockout and helps counter the double move that the defensive line is going to bring. And I feel like that's kind of my advantage to my size. I feel like I got a great anchor up front, and it's not easy just to run right through me. So I just use my strengths to my benefit in those areas. I definitely, like I said, in the past, I have a lot of experience at guard. And, I go in as an interior lineman, I feel like it'd be a better thing for me because I can pull and, I love to hit and just pressing off or doing anything. I feel like having that experience can help me in any level with playing at center or guard.
Gotcha. So, I mean, when we're looking at maybe, I don't know, some people like this and some people don't. So correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're looking at guys like at the professional level, is there a guy in the pros right now that you're trying to emulate, model your game after, or that you're a fan of even? So, who's the guy that I'm not necessarily comparing you to, but who are you looking at for to pick apart and maybe add a little bit to your game?
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I definitely look at a lot of units as a whole, but I have a couple of guys that I look at. I mean, Jason Kelsey for the Eagles, he's had such a great motor, and he plays with like an intent that I'm gonna get someone on the ground, And he's a smaller dude, like measurements wise and weight wise, but I mean, he plays really nasty. I feel like he has a motor like no other. But if I had to compare myself, I feel like I'm more like a kind of like a Ronnie Hudson guy, bigger up front, but got good press and good strength at an initial contact. So those are guys I kind of like to compare myself to and look at and model.
Nice. So Rodney Hudson-esque, I think it's fair. I think that's a fair way of looking at
Yeah.
it. Uh, I would be remiss if I didn't talk at least about, maybe one of your teammates out there. Kind of want to backtrack a little bit because I was a big fan of Zaven Cowell. So give us a little tidbit about you and your experience playing opposite him.
Man, it was actually funny. We wasn't the greatest of friends, but we was good teammates. And we played, we still had a good relationship. We used to play Fortnite together when the game was hot. So we was on that a lot. And then talking about practice, we just always made sure we was giving each other the best look we could. So when it was good on good, we made sure we gave each other everything. So it was great battling against him because we definitely push each other in a lot of areas. And I'm glad he's doing good at his spot now with the Cardinals.
Yeah,
Great to see.
Sorry, I had to talk about him a little bit. It was really a fan of him coming out, but again, a lot of great competition that you have to face on a regular basis. Who do you feel has been like your stiffest competition like to date? Like, is there maybe a player or a team that just comes to mind for you?
Well, just talking about the guys I go against every day, Tyrus and Jackson, those are some great guys up front that we battle. We talk the most, so we push each other every day. But talking about other teams, my conference, I feel like Tulane for the last couple of years, they had a good front, as a whole. Those guys played solid. They communicated well. Sometimes you had the DN line up in front of those, and they'll give us a 5-man look, and we had to pick up twists and stuff. So those are good teams. We had Cincinnati, who was really solid up front as well.
Yeah, they're kind of unstoppable right now. So
yeah, they're doing real good this year.
Obviously, a lot of great talent. They're in the American Athletic. So, really fighting and clawing. You're up against some of the best competition there. That you just kind of mentioned. So, obviously, you got to break those guys down in the film a little bit and really kind of prepare yourself for a game. So, can you maybe give me an example of how, you studied film about maybe a particular player or team and it really play out in the game time situation? Can you remember maybe one good example?
Well, for my preparation when it comes to watching film and studying guys, I try to just look at cues, from the formation to how tight their feet are, which foot could be up and which one could be back. Because, that's going to kind of give you everything you need to see. When you deal with a lot of teams, especially now, I feel like more recently we've seen a lot of teams that kind of rotate through different fronts. If that's Okie, if that's a 4-3, a 4-1, whatever. Teams kind of fluctuate through different looks to, keep the offense on their toes. So I feel like just really looking at the guys' tendencies in those formations, if that's their foot, like see if they're gonna stun or twist, or see if they're gonna give you upfield penetration or maybe slant. I feel like those are like big things I look for when looking at film.
Gotcha. And is there an example of that you maybe want to share, or maybe like, uh, let's just kind of go to like maybe one of your best moments there, you know, playing for Tulsa. So, um, is there maybe a moment or a highlight that sticks out?
I guess dealing with for a highlight, are you saying like at the University of Tulsa or like in game? What are you talking about? Like, what are
Yeah,
you?
just kind of, maybe like a particular play that kind of sticks out.
Um, I remember last year against ECU, we were battling, and it was a back and forth game. We actually came back and won that game last year, and I remember we were just kind of looking for anything to get us going. I remember we called a screen, and I was like, finally, I get to go in space, and man, I had a big block up field, and it helped us gain about 30 yards. So I mean, that was a big play, but I try to aim and try to have big plays consistently. That's the goal. So
Right.
anytime I can benefit my team and get something sparked up, that's a zone block to make a crease for the running back, or is that just blocking the guy for 5-6 seconds to get my quarterback time to make a play downfield? Whatever I can do, I mean, it's a big moment.
So yeah, I mean, they're not always like asking you to, play in space. I mean, you're the center, you're the guy
Yeah.
up there up front, you're that wall, for the people behind you. So I mean, I completely understand that. Um, the other part about preparation is really just getting after it in the weight room. So tell me a little bit about your attitude and focus and your goals there in the weight room, and maybe even like your favorite lift.
Yeah, man. I mean, I enjoy weightlifting. The culture that my uh strength coach, Coach Ye, he has established in his strength staff, man. It's and it's in the season 2 of October. Well, it just passed, but Squattober, man. I love squatting. This summer, I actually PR'd and squatted 600 pounds, so that was a big deal for me. And man, when I get in the weight room, it's just kind of like a time just to release, anything that's bugging me or whatever. Just kind of gotta get out there and just reflect onto the weight. So it's always a good thing. And then it's kind of like a close space where all your teammates there, from the defense side. So you get to interact with everyone from the receivers to DBs, whatever, and it's a good atmosphere.
Great. So uh, let's kind of transition a little bit outside of football. So I'm kind of interested who Gerard Wheeler is like outside of an athlete. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Any hobbies, interests, anything that you find interesting that you want everybody to know about you.
No, for sure. I write music time to time. It started off as a little thing. I didn't know I taught the girls back in the day, so I'll write them like a little poem or something. That kind of evolved a little bit, and I stick to it. I do it every now and again, but I enjoy video games a lot. I feel like it's a great way to connect with my friends from back home. We get on the mic and we just conversate about life, event, and it's more just playing 2K all day. But that's just something I enjoy doing. Um, I enjoy watching all types of different movies and series like that. It's just something to do, something to relax when you get some off time from school and football, of course.
Gotcha. I mean, obviously, coming from Chicago, ending up there in Texas, I know you're a basketball fan to some degree, right?
Yeah,
You're a
definitely.
Bulls fan. Is that kind of how it goes?
Yeah, I am. I'm actually Bulls fan. My Bulls doing good right now. We 6-1. We just beat the Celtics, and yeah, that's kind of where that basketball background came for me. I used to play. I played all the way to sophomore year of high school, but got to the point my dad was like, okay, you know, you're gonna
Right.
lose a little weight, you become a guard, or you're gonna gain something, play football, So I just decided to play football, which is the great choice, obviously. But yeah, man, I enjoy basketball. When I first started watching, Derrick Rose was hot, so I just thought he was just
Right.
the greatest of all time. Surely soon, my dad was gladly to educate me about Michael Jordan, and then I saw LeBron, of course, emerge to who he is. So yeah, that was definitely some basketball love there as well.
Gotcha. I'm sitting here trying to think of maybe another question to ask you to just kind of get something about you that is not football, and I was sitting here thinking maybe I don't know, favorite comfort food. So like you come home from being gone for like a semester, you come home, what's like your go-to? What do you gotta have like as part of your comfort food?
Well, I'm a big pizza guy, especially coming from up north. But my dad, he's a chef, so I mean, he be preparing all type of stuff. So when I get to go home, at least to Texas, I try to just bug him to cook something. I enjoy. I don't know. He makes the stuffed bell peppers. Like last time I was home, he made stuffed bell peppers, and that was really good. But yeah, he cooks all type of stuff. So anything that involves my dad cooking or my mom cooking is always appreciated.
Love it. Gerard, as we begin to wrap this interview, up, I mean, essentially, I try my best to ask everybody this question, even though it's a little corny, maybe cheesy, but it's really just the why question. And the why question really means, why do you play this game of football, and who or what motivates you the most?
Well, football was just something I just did, you know what I'm saying? Originally, it was just kind of like a sport to try. But man, now I really look at it as like a lifestyle. I feel like football has reflected me in many ways, and it's setting me up for the real world. You know, after I put the cleats up, I plan to put the coaching hat on and throw the whistle on and just try to be an influence of kids in that way and just be a mentor. So I feel like football just gives opportunity for guys to develop more than just physically. It gives them situations that you want to see until you probably do hit the real world. So, learning how to fight through adversity, bond, work as a team, be selfless, and learn that, one thing about football is, 10 guys can get it right, but if one gets it wrong, the play is busted, and that's kind of a big thing that you just learn. Like, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If y'all not doing it together as a team, then it's not going to be successful. So, I mean, that's just the biggest thing about it. So I just love the sport for what it is, and what it can do to guys that play it.
Right. Well, I mean, my last question for you, Gerard, is, obviously you're playing at a university where there are scouts coming to watch you all the time, whether it be at practice or at some of your games. At some point after your season's over, you're going to be sitting down with a lot of them, interviewing a whole lot of people. Um, I want you to kind of address everybody who might be interested in you as a prospect. So go ahead and give them maybe your pitch as to maybe why they need to take a chance on you, maybe draft you and bring you part of, bring you in as a part of their franchise.
Well, the thing about me, I feel like any coach loves is that I'm myself, but I'm also just able to just be coachable. I can take criticism, I could take the I could tell you what most guys probably want to hear, because at the end of the day, I just want to get better. I just want to be the best me. So I feel like any coach will just enjoy the fact that I can be honest with myself and reflect on myself in an honest way and just say, okay, this is what I need to get better at. Let's just go work. I enjoy the game, and I just hold myself to a standard where I just gotta be great and I gotta be dominant. Sometimes, I'm my worst critic. I'm learning to be my biggest fan as well, but I just feel like I'm a guy that's hard on himself, and I'm gonna just give you all I got.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, a guy over the course of your career has really learned how to become like really a really good center. Again, talking to me a little bit about like how you have grown from being like a defensive player, moving into the interior there, really doing some solid work there for your team. And then again, I mean, a guy with your measurables and reach. I feel like that's really going to help, give you some opportunities, whether it be there at center that you have experience playing, or maybe even moving you to guard for some teams. So some teams may be looking at you at both positions. But I mean, like you said, I mean, being a guy who's coachable and willing to do whatever it takes. I mean, I feel like teams really need to know who you are. So. Gerard, I wish you best of luck this upcoming season or the rest of this season and
Yeah.
everything else you got going on in your life. All right.
Thanks. Appreciate you for having me. Thank you for this opportunity, just being on, and hope the best for you and all your future endeavors as well.
Thank you.